Alright, so let's work on the next part of this tutorial, and what we can do is set up the camera and the background. And so, to create a camera, create cameras, camera. There it is, and it's all the way down there, and look how small it is. And so, if you want to, you can make the camera bigger. Now, you might be tempted to just scale it up. Don't do that, because it will cause certain problems. And so, just go to the attribute editor for the camera. So make sure you got the camera selected. And then what you want to do is go to object display, and can you see locator scale here, and it says 1, and you can just type in a bigger number, say 10. Boom, there you go. You can actually see the camera now, and we can just bring it back like that. Right, okay, so there you have it. And so let's hit spacebar. We're in the view, and what I like to do is go to panels here and make this the perspective now, and we can hit 5 and switch the wireframe on if you like, if you want this kind of display. And then here in this, go to panels and camera 1. There we go. So this is the camera 1 view. Now you want to ask yourself what resolution do you want this. So it's kind of squarish or oblongy. And so click on this, and this is the render settings. And the first thing you'll see is file name, and so I don't know, Q Monster 1, and I use EXR, and then compression none. But you can leave this alone. Right, single frame, which is what we're doing. If you're rendering out animation, you can do that, and then you can specify how long the animation is, like how many frames, like here. And so, but we are doing single frame. Renderable camera perspective, no, we want camera 1. There you go. Okie doke. And then you got the presets, and so by default it's HD 540. Now, when you're doing all the test renders and stuff, you might as well just keep it low, because then it renders faster. Then when it comes time to the final render, then you can bump it up to like 2K and whatnot. And then here by default it's a bit too much. Maybe just bring it down to 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, just for now. Okay, so low settings, right? Okay, and click on this to select the camera. Okay, so go back into the attribute editor, and what we want now is boom, boom, display options, display resolution. Boom. As you can see, you can just about see the margin there, and it says 960 by 540. Right, gate mask capacity. Well, we can't really see much. Now, go to the overscan here, and by default it's 1, and just, click on it, hold down control, I believe, and middle mouse, and woo, there you go. You can also do it with the left mouse. And so we can actually see the outside of the frame, which is good. So you can see what's in frame, what's out of frame, and if you want, you can just change the color of it, like black, and then we can frame it up a little bit. And, excuse me, it's too wide from left and right, so instead of 960 by 540, let's open it up. And we can just say something like, now again, we're just going to do test renders, so let's keep it fairly low, like maybe 800 by 800. And there you go. So it gives us a square representation, and then we can kind of, move the camera about until we're happy. Now, if you take a look at the focal length, it says 35mm, and you can get it from here. Display, heads up display, where are you? Focal length. There, I've got it switched on. So 35mm is the default camera lens. Again, you can change it if you want. Where are we? So instead of 35mm, maybe 60. If you want to do 60 degrees, not 60 degrees, 60 millimeters, 20. So if you have a really wide angle and you zoom in, you distort the perspective. So that's pretty good if you're going to do some kind of nightmarish creature or something. So it's up to you. That looks pretty cool, actually. 200, it kind of flattens out the perspective. So it's up to you what you want to go for. So I'm going to probably go for 75mm. I think that looks pretty cool. And as you can see, the frame has gone off from the top and the bottom. So if you want to, you can just go back to attribute editor, go to the overscan. So it's 1.5, maybe type in 1.6. There we go, you get to see it better. Okay, so let's just say this is what you like. Now, if you want to, you don't have to have it directly facing the camera. You can have it at a slight angle. It just makes it a bit more interesting, you know, if it's at a slight angle. And then click on this and it locks the camera angle, so now you can't accidentally move it. Alright, that's a bit done. We can grab this image plane, and if you want to, you can just switch it off. So show, where are you, image planes, boom. Alright, so this is where we're at, and then let's just click on this plane here, make it bigger, and we can create the floor. We don't need all this resolution, so just drop it down to 1. And here we can switch off the image planes as well. Boom. And so as you can see, it's just about on the floor. He's floating. Excuse me, he's floating just a bit. One thing we can do also, first of all, let's delete the history. There we go. Let's select everything and delete the history. And we have everything selected. And when I say everything, I mean just on the character. And do Control G. And now we have placed all the pieces into a group, and we can just call them monster 1, just in case you're going to do more than one monsters. And the pivot, as you can see, it's right here, the center of origin. We can lift it up and then do V middle, not V, but X middle mouse snap, and snap it to the grid. And as you can see, it's still just slightly above the ground. So what we can do is reposition the pivot. So do D, V, middle mouse snap, and we want to find like the lowest vertex on this model, and I believe this is the one here. So just lift it up a little bit, X middle mouse snap. Let's hit 3 to make it soft, and so we can just bring it down just a little bit. There we go. So now his feet are actually touching the ground. Okay, if you want to, you can center the pivot and freeze transformation, so that is the point of origin for our character. So now he is firmly on the ground, and so let's just do a quick background, just a nice simple background for this dude. Let's kind of just bring it back a bit, and let's grab this back edge and hit extrude. Let's just move it up to the point where it fills the whole frame. There you go. And what we can do is grab this edge here and hit bevel, so we can do a smooth fall off, something like that. There we go. So let's hit 3, and we now have our background. I'm just going to make it just a bit wider, and yeah, there we go. And so we can actually say background. Okay, let's take a look at what we got. Let's select the camera, and so at the minute we've got it up on 800 by 800, but when it comes to do the final render, probably you know, I like to do it fairly big, like 2K or so forth. And so there you go, we have the camera set up, the background set up, and so that's it for this video, and I will see you next video.